Please do not offer your opponent something in exchange for a match result.
So there they are. Rusty on the left, on the right, Dave on the right. Game on the left, Rusty on the right.
Speaking of which, welcome to round 8.
This is not the Rusty I
15 minutes, you may begin.
Okay then.
So
sorry to the other Rusty out
Sorry
there.
to the other Rusty. He may not be a dog owner.
Looks
but
like
I'm hoping he is.
Rusty Kubis. That's probably the one. So who do you give the edge to here? Mono black versus blue black.
We're trying to fill up the last.
I'm going to say that zombie deck is favored.
I think so too. Even though Sharfman has no Doom Blades, so a card that's usually dead, I still think it's a good matchup.
8-4 draft, so we just need 2
So
more
Rusty
people
wins the roll, has no 1-drop, has
Come
no
up to the
2-drop,
stage left.
but neither does Dave.
And we will get you started.
Well,
So once again,
we'll see about
that.
2 players for the next draft. 2 players.
Fume Spitter, not very exciting against Dave's deck.
Nope.
Maybe game 1 this is in Dave's favor. I forget, you always kind of like glance over the deck list and don't really pay attention to cards like Fume Spitter and just how abysmal they are against control decks.
Right, like Mortar Pod, Fume Spitter, Tragic Slip.
These cards are not where you want to be against a deck like Dave's.
No, not at all. Especially, too, it looks like Rusty kept a hand that he wouldn't have kept if he had known what Dave was playing.
Oh, definitely not. And it's a sword now.
So Sword Eats to Dissipate. Important to note for Rusty that Sharfman didn't mana leak that, so Rusty shouldn't really be playing around mana leaks at this stage of the game, or at least I wouldn't be.
I wouldn't be either.
So Nephalia Drownyard for Dave goes with his Swamp Island and Dark Slit.
David falls to 18 here.
And Obliterator. Just running it out there. I like it.
I like that too. I don't think you should be playing around counter spells after your opponent dissipates your
Sword.
yeah.
I don't think you can ever play the long game against blue-black. Almost no matter what deck you are. You just have to keep running your threats right into their answers, unfortunately, as backwards as it seems. So off the Forbidden Alchemy, he takes an unknown card over Alchemy Land. And now he'll untap as he replaces a sleeve.
I mean, if you notice the ripped sleeve during the middle of the game, just switch it right then and there. It's a good way to handle the situation.
Exactly. And then rip up that sleeve.
That way it doesn't get involved again.
So in the main deck, Dave he doesn't have that many ways to kill a Phyrexian Obliterator. He has 2 Go for the Throat, he has 2 Tribute to Hunger, and he has 3 Tragic Slip, and that's really it. But there's one of the Go for the Throats. He had the answer he needed. Post-combat, Rusty just plays another Obliterator. And Tragic Slip, wow.
The Tragic Slip's going to be good enough now that the Go for the Throat was already played.
Yep. So lots of removal from Dave. Oh, Grave Titan.
Yeah.
And that's not good. Rusty does not even have enough mana to Geth's Verdict with the trigger on the stack. He does have a Phantasmal Image, though, so if he can draw a blue source, we'll have some dueling Grave Titans.
Dueling Grave Titans is always just a weird thing, because they're always just hitting each other.
Yeah.
They're always just eating zombie tokens and making more zombie tokens. And
they always end up, or they usually do just end up trading, but not always.
David gets to untap with his Grave Titan play.
Usually means lights out, but we'll see.
That's about it, usually.
So main phase Forbidden Alchemy for Sharfman. Leaving up
Players,
2 blue-black lands and a Drownyard.
Draft number 3, come on up to the side events Dragon. And we're going to get you started once again. Competitive draft number 3, come on up to the side events.
And this is where scouting is really so valuable, because Rusty would never have kept this hand if he knew what Dave was playing.
Yeah. That's something people don't really, do often enough, I feel.
Oh, definitely not.
A really valuable thing to do at tournaments, just looking at all the people who have the same record as you constantly. Just checking those tables out, trying to remember in your head what different people are playing. A name player like David Sharfman, it's probably easier, too, to remember that one.
Yeah, I would think so. So Sharfman attacks. Rusty gets Verdict, one of the zombie tokens. blocks the Fume Spitter, but then packs it in.
Yeah, it's just too much at that point.
Yeah. He didn't draw Blue Source for his Grave Titan. So after a really quick game one, let's see what the players have to sideboard. Rusty, 2 Sword of Feast and Famine, 1 Obliterator, 4 Extraction, 4 Corrosive Gale, 4 Vapor Snag. So, unfortunately, not too many of those things are really.
Yeah, you can swap the Ward pieces for Feast of Famines.
Yep. You can probably put an Obliterator in there, but he
probably
just
wants to cut another Mortar Pod for some Surgical Extraction. He has some cards that are just pretty bad, like Mortar Pod's pretty bad.
Yeah, he has 3 Fume Spitter, 2 Mortar Pod, 4 Tragic Slip.
He might even end up having to bring in all 4 Surgical Extractions, which is kind of awkward because if you draw more than one, they're just so bad.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's probably better than drawing Fume Spitter, which essentially mods Goblin Raider.
Right.
You know.
I'm pretty sure what he'll do, he'll take out 2 Mortar Pods, 4 Tragic Slip, 3 Fume Spitter, bring in 4 Surgical, 1 Obliterator, 2 Sword of Feast and Famine. Then for those last 2 spots, he can either keep some of those other spells in or bring in Corrosive Gale as just a Fireball, which isn't that bad.
Yeah, I mean, that's not unreasonable at all.
Yeah, especially if they have to, say, go for the throat your guy on your turn, leaving it wide open for, say, a Fireball for 6. An effective Fireball.
David, on the other hand, has access to 2 Batterskull, 2 Bloodline Keeper, 1 Flash Freeze, 2 Negate, 1 Nephalia Drown Yard, 1 Ghost Quarter, 2 Nihil Spellbomb, 1 Phantasmal Image, 2 Surgical Extraction, and 1 Wormcoil Engine.
Okay.
We can expect them to bring in the Wormcoil Engine for sure, the Nihil Spellbombs for sure, probably at least 1 Surgical Extraction, maybe both.
Batterskull.
Batterskull,
sure.
Definitely.
What do you think about Bloodline Keeper versus this mono black deck, or effectively mono black deck?
You saw Geth's Verdict. It's going to be hard for your opponent to sideboard out everything, right? That's bad against you because he has so many bad cards against you.
Yeah, I don't really like it that much. It seems like it would excel against decks that can't really remove it, and this one can pretty easily.
Yeah, and it's really good against like the white decks.
Yeah.
Bloodline Keeper's pretty good in general.
Yeah, it is. I've drafted that one a few times. It's pretty good.
I've also drafted that one a few times.
So in terms of taking cards out, let's see here. Curse of Death's Hold, probably pretty good against the zombie deck, huh? Kills Gravecrawlers, negates the Captain. Do you think he'll take out some number of Dissipate? Or do you think he needs answers to Swords?
Dissipate's also like kind of good in general, like removing something from the game.
It's Gravecrawler. The late game Gravecrawler Dissipate could be relevant.
His curses are really good.
Yeah.
So
he can
definitely take out his Tribute to Hunger, so those are really bad.
Right. He can probably shave some number of Think Twices, 1 to 2 Think Twices.
Yeah, I've never really liked Think Twice in general. It's obviously as synergy when a deck that has Nephalia Drown Yard and Forbidden Alchemy.
Right.
Things like that, but it's kind of a mediocre to bad card.
It's definitely really good if your opponent won't be pressuring you, so you can just slowly accrue all this long game advantage, but these games are not going to go long. That's exactly how these games are going to play out. Kill your guy, kill your guy, kill your guy, stabilize Grave Titan.
Number 3.
So I expect some number of those to go.
Yeah, Bloodline Keeper is the type of card I like to be good. Like I like it when cards like Bloodline Keeper are good.
Also,
it doesn't have a come into play ability and limited. Like if your opponent has Bloodline Keeper, or if you have Bloodline Keeper rewards, tight play and proper like reservation with removal spells. It's not like having to beat Titans.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh, and so my apologies. I'm just an idiot. Someone points on Twitter.
Only creatures.
Only creatures. So
Yeah.
you definitely won't see that one coming.
So not Hurricaning.
Right.
Unless he foresees Bloodline Keepers.
Right. I guess that would just be a strictly better Hurricane, huh? So as the players shuffle up, you see a smile on Sharfman's face. He knows he was probably tried to get a little lucky to take that game 1. He knows Rusty didn't really keep a great hand, but he's happy to have it.
Something interesting about it, we mentioned this earlier about this blue-black zombies deck. When they draw the right half of their deck's really good and really powerful. But when they draw the wrong half of their deck is kind of bad.
Kind of embarrassing, really.
Yeah, like Fume Spitter.
Fume Spitter is one of the weakest cards in the deck. I mean, I know you need a 1-drop. I know it can do tricks with Messenger, but it's not good against half the decks. So turn 1 Diagraph Cool starts it off for Rusty. Sharfman counters with an island.
David gonna go to 18 here from that Diagraph Cool attack. Another Diagraph Cool for Rusty.
And that's it. So Sharfman just has land go. Dave untaps, or Rusty untaps, draws an Obliterator, attacks Dave for 4.
Yeah, Dave falling to 14 from this attack now.
Ooh, he's looking at a Snapcaster Mage in his hand. Could he be thinking about blocking?
That's pretty reasonable. Just use it as a removal spell. You know?
Yeah, I think so. And there it is.
You know, if you do sideboard in Bloodline Keeper, which I doubt he did, it's also like really nice to play Snapcaster instead of a removal spell in that spot as a removal spell, because it lets you test the waters and see if your opponent has one or not, and then
That's true too. I mean, Rusty would have been happy to tragic slip that hair had he had one. So Sharfman, main phase Forbidden Alchemy, or is this the end of turn 3 already? This is the end of turn 3.
I believe it's the end of turn 3.
The end of turn. So Rusty had nothing else to add to the board. Just another swamp. Makes me wonder what he's holding. It's like images and obliterators.
Yep.
And we see this black deck's mana's finally catching up with it in terms of the blue sources, as it looks like he has another image and has just drawn the blue source.
Ooh, Curse of Death Soul. Pretty good.
That Diagraph Ghoul's a little less powerful now. So swings for 1, and Rusty drops an Obliterator.
David looks like he has a Worm Coil in his hand. That's going to be pretty good. The problem is that Obliterator can just attack right into a Worm Coil engine.
Right. No problem. But Sharfman can just trade hits. Take 4, gain 6, take 4, gain 6.
Yeah. Or he doesn't have to.
That works too. Takes out the Obliterator's throat and says go. Sharfman there with a Surgical in hand. So Sharfman says at the end of your draw step, I will extract your Obliterators, hitting 1. Seeing 2 Phantasmal Image and a land.
And I like that play a lot by David. Rusty didn't have a play really for a couple turns there, and then he played that 4th land tapped, and then had a Phyrexian Obliterator and still had 3 cards in his hand, and he's playing an aggro zombie deck. Like, if you really think about it, like, what other cards could he have in his hand? Odds are the cards that are left in his hand are Phyrexian Obliterators, and they happen to not be, but...
Right. I mean, it's a pretty good deduction. He hit 1 more.
Yeah, it's like a super easy deduction, you know.
So now Rusty only left with land,
But you have to be willing to like make that thought process,
right?
Which is something that you don't do unless you've been playing for a long time.
That's true. It may come naturally to someone like Sharfman, but it's not the easiest when you're sitting there at the table. And now another curse.
And double curse, having surgically extracted Phyrexian Obliterators is it, right?
He has Geralf's Messenger, and that's it. That is the only way.
It comes back as a 2-1, right?
Right. Yeah, David pretty much knows he has this game locked up. Just needs to not die to random Geralf's Messengers from 10 life, which he should easily be able to do. And really, Rusty didn't have good draws in any of these games.
No, not at all.
He didn't draw his best card, so his deck didn't look good. That's pretty much all there was to it. I think Sharfman took a Snapcaster Mage on that alchemy right there.
And now it's just kind of a waiting game to see when he can draw
any creature.
Yeah.
Yeah, or a
Trying to
drown yard
close it,
or
like-
anything. Yeah. And you know, as soon as he gets the chance, he'll Snapcaster that surgical extraction on the Drolf's Messenger, leaving Rusty with no outs.
Oh, he does bring in Bloodline Keeper.
Okay, cool. It's a little surprising. He knows Rusty has two images in his hand.
I mean, he does have Snapcaster. He has plenty of. He's got plenty of ways to deal with it right now.
Yeah, he does. Really, there's almost no way he can lose the game at this point.
It seems pretty much impossible.
Oh, and there's a second one, so.
Oh, he lets him untap with that Phantasma. Interesting, but
Also, pretty important to keep in mind is that Rusty can never flip that into Lord of Lineage, and he can.
oh, that is pretty interesting.
And Sword of Feast and Famine will resolve.
Although I don't think it really matters at this point.
Now, a token can pick up the sword, but the token dies due to state-based effects, so that sword can't equip to anything.
Yeah, I mean, double curse. It's kind of
Right.
that's it.
Yeah, there's really no reason to be playing this game at this point. From Rusty's point of view, he's just hoping David messes up, somehow lets him back into this game, or he draws running messengers. Which, he would only need 3 of them. Stranger things have happened. So,
Yeah.
Bloodline Keepers make 2 and flip.
Yeah.
And going through the motions and flip again.
These vampires are very big.
Very big.
Those are some very, very scary vampires.
He'll just say go, and there's the hand.
Yeah.
So David Sharfman advances to 7-1 with only 1 round to go. It starts
Yeah.
the open.
Looks like he's going to be in the top 8 here.
Yeah. Unless something goes horribly wrong for him, he should make it.
Hey, he's probably going to be able to draw in next round.
Yeah, I think so.
Well done. Pro Tour champion.